Hi friends, in our last video I introduced Vata Dosha and gave you quite a bit to think about. Hopefully it wasn't too much. You can always go back. You can also, one good source for information, there are lots of good sources, but one that I trust that's pretty accessible to anyone who you don't want to be a student of Ayurveda, but you want to learn more about it would be Banyan Botanicals. They're an online seller of Ayurvedic herbs and oils. And they also have they have like a free dosha quiz and a lot of articles. So you can type in Vata or Vata season, for example, and then a whole bunch of things will come up and you can read more about it or watch some videos. Okay, so we introduced Vata dosha, and you can take a Vata or you can take a dosha quiz. You can go to Banyan Botanicals. That's one I recommend. Chopra has one. I'm forgetting offhand some of the other ones, but actually, if you join my Secrets of a Calm Fall on Patreon, which is free, just join my Patreon as a free subscriber, you will see, I think it was in day 2 or 3 that I think day 2, I had like 3 links. Okay, so if you want to know more about your own constitution and what your natural makeup is, you can take a quiz, a dosha quiz online. And okay, none of these quizzes are 100% accurate. Sometimes the questions seem a little weird. So you may take a few different quizzes over time. And sometimes you can notice that what you were, like if you think of yourself to like age 20 and then like after that, you may have changed your body, like your basic bone structure isn't going to change. But you may have accumulated some of another dosha that you didn't have much of when you were born, just because of your lifestyle, because of doing too much of one thing and not enough of another, stress, weather, whatever. There are a lot of different things that can affect our bodies over time. We know that just, outside of Ayurveda, just in the natural sense, your body learns to adapt to its situation, but can get diseased, right? Dis-ease. So what's important for Vata season, Vata dosha, but also for this season that we're in, of Vata season, the fall season, when things are irregular and we're starting to feel cold and our skin is starting to be dry and our digestion might feel, kind of off, and we're maybe waking up in the middle of the night. Consistency is super important. So when you wake up and when you go to sleep, to get that as consistent as you can. I know everybody's got a different situation, but if at all possible, or as much as it's up to you, get on a normal schedule. Normal, if it's like I get up at 8 a.m. and I go to bed at, 12 p.m., whatever it is, it's good to get to bed before 10 if you can. We can get into that another time. So consistent schedule and consistent eating is most important. I've actually heard an Ayurvedic doctor say one time that it's more important when you eat than what you eat. It's still important what you eat. However, when you eat is really important. Your body needs to be on a schedule. And especially if you already have a lot of Vata symptoms, if you already are kind of an anxious, irregular, scattered, impulsive, spontaneous person, it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you, but we want to bring balance. So in Ayurveda, we do the opposite to bring balance. So rather than bringing in more irregularity and more crazy, scattered into our schedule, we start to bring in some steadiness and to bring in some consistency, to have, the foods being more heavy and dense and moist rather than dry and cold and hard. We'll talk more about food in our next video. So take a dosha quiz if you're interested in learning more about your own unique makeup, to know more of what you need more of and what you need less of. And then if you don't want to even bother with that, if you just want to be like, okay, just tell me like seasonally, okay, well then start with what's your schedule like? Are you going to bed and getting up at a normal time every day? And can you eat your meals at normal times every day? So if your schedule is completely all over the place right now, Could you start with one meal? That's what I asked people in Secrets of a Calm Fall. Can you start with one meal? If breakfast is the easiest meal, just pick the easiest meal for you. And okay, every day I'm going to eat at 6:30 or 7 a.m., whatever it is. Do that as often as you can. So if you hit 5 days out of 7, that's way better than 0 out of 7. You know, and then if you can start looking at your lunch times and your dinner times, and seeing if you could line up when you eat. I know in the US, I haven't been, you know, I haven't had a career like in an office somewhere my whole life, but what I've heard is that, you know, it's just meal times are it's like an afterthought, rather than like in some places in Europe where they're going to take an hour for lunch. They're turning off their computers and their screens and they're eating. That's what they're doing. They're just going to eat and digest, and they're not thinking about work. So if you can push back a little bit in your place of work, and for human dignity, you know, and for digestion and sanity, then do that. But try to get on a normal schedule with your eating and your waking and sleeping, because that will help all those anxiety and the you know, the scattered and not being able to focus. That'll start to help to calm that stuff down as you bring in those opposite qualities into your life. Okay, I hope this was helpful, and we'll talk more in the next video.